Hello viewers, me and team here. Welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls and the final part of the series. Previously in this I was just doing some farming. Maybe I'll annotate that or something. There's not a whole lot to say. Once you open the kiln of the first flame using the 4 Lord Souls that I've been fighting in the previous parts, well, it's not that difficult to run in and kill Black Knights over and over for chunks. I think for red chunks, that's easily the most efficient way to get them. And I think that's also true for white and blue if you're trying to go down the magic or divine paths as well. So, that's one route you can take. The weapons I made a Chaos Axe plus 5 just because. And I also made a Lightning estoc plus 5. And that one's kind of fun to have as a complementary weapon, especially with something like the Silver Knight Shield, which has pretty good stability. So the estoc's a good addition to it. Unfortunately, everything in this area resists lightning, but I still wanted to use lightning. Although lightning plus 5 is weaker than chaos plus 5 if you have 10 humanity, which chaos scales with, it's not much weaker. And there are more fire-resistant builds in multiplayer than there are lightning-resistant builds. There's also no lightning equivalent of flash sweat. So, I wanted to use lightning, and although they resist pretty hard in this area, I mean, I'm using Hornet Ring, and I'm not getting one-hit kills, so I'm only doing 700 damage. Things that don't resist would take, like, 800 plus, maybe even, I don't think 900 generally, not unless you're wearing no armor. But the estoc can hurt a lot. Not as much as the rapier. The rapier, I think, has one of the best critical hit multipliers in the game, if not the best. It might not be the highest damage backstab, but it's up there. Same thing with its riposte. Its riposte is nasty. Chaos Rapier plus 5 with power within and a Hornet Ring is a one-shot if you riposte on that. Against most builds, you will one-shot somebody in multiplayer if you land that. And considering you can attack from behind a shield and the people are spamming you, you just riposte, it can be pretty nasty, and it's something you can pull off at low levels. So that's a good way to kill people who are like soul level 120 or even 200 plus very quickly, is to land a parry and a riposte with a Chaos Rapier plus 5 with power within. That's brutal. Not hard to set up and brutal. And you could probably manage that by stacking like 40 vitality, 30 endurance, and base stats otherwise. And, you know, you're talking like level 50 to 60 or something, and capable of one-shotting a majority of builds. Anyway, the Black Knights really aren't much. You've seen them a couple times throughout the playthrough. They're a little bit higher damaging here, a little bit more health, whatever. Not anything too challenging, though. They same movesets given a weapon. The one good thing about them is, obviously, I was farming them. They do respawn. This is the only area they respawn. So, if you're looking for chunks, and you didn't want to farm earlier, this is a great place to do it. You can get 2 Titanite chunks per run, and 1 each of red, blue, and white Titanite chunks. Blue and white in particular, even red, all 3 of those are a pain to farm elsewhere. Red you have to farm in Lost Izalith, but it's not reliable and you have to run a long way also, where you don't really have to run that long to that giant sword Black Knight or whatever. Titanite chunk you can get guaranteed every time just running down. You can get a second one if you go further. And then the blue and white are a little bit out of the way, but it's not that easy to farm white chunks anyway, and blue chunks are a pain too. So, really, that's what can you do? As for farming souls, you saw me do that in the Painted World. If you watched that ×4 video, there are already YouTube videos up about farming in the Painted World with Fire Tempest, so I don't feel like I need to rehash that too much. So that's what I spent doing in the first part of this video. Now I'm playing with Black Knight stuff. A little bit better fire resistance, which Gwyn has. A little bit worse lightning resistance. So Silver Knight gear is better in some circumstances, and Black Knight gear is better in others. The full set for Black Knight also has slightly more poise, but if I'm wearing Wolf Ring, I'm well past any relevant breakpoint either way, and I don't get to the next one wearing full Black Knight, so that doesn't really matter a whole lot. At least not unless you're mixing this gear in as part of another set. Chop. Yep. You can also get the Black Knight weapons here. If you didn't get them earlier in your playthrough, you are guaranteed to get them here. Of course, that's not very useful for a playthrough, but if you're trying to get them for multiplayer, well, you can. Yeah, absolutely, you can get one for sure. Just run in here and kill these guys over and over until you get it. With 10 humanity and max item discovery of any kind, really, you could be wearing like the gold serpent ring and the symbol of avarice or something too. Whatever you want to get the max item find. Easy enough to get any Black Knight weapon you want. I got a ton of swords and great swords while I was farming my Titanite chunks. So there you go. Anyway, coming up on Lord Gwyn here, and Gwyn isn't really one of the most challenging bosses in the game. He's very aggressive, and he's going to give me some trouble early because I just don't fight him that often. But he's really not that bad if you can parry. And although he's going to work me over here, it gives me... yeah, I'm parry spamming. And I get grabbed. It's just not playing these fights very well. And, you know, as much as it gets a reputation for difficulty, Dark Souls is forgiving on regular New Game to some extent. Certainly if you fall off, you're going to die in a lot of areas. And some bosses can, if not one-shot you, effectively do so. But in other places, you can get away with stuff. Anyway, use the stalagmites. G is for ground. I learned that in elementary school. Yes, use the stalagmites or the pillars while he's swinging. And you can probably get a heal off before he can run around the pillars with that charging stab. And then you can heal yourself. It pisses him off, but we don't care. Finally dodge a grab, man. Oh, spoke too soon. Fail. Man, I'm really chugging the Estus here. Yeah. On New Game Plus 6 or 7, this guy's no joke. But regular New Game, not too challenging. I don't think he's ever the most challenging boss on any New Game, though. Finally landed a parry there. And that is the secret to beating him. The better you are at parrying, the easier it is. Unfortunately, I think he is great sword class stagger, so if he two-hands it, I would need 53 poise, I believe, to take a hit if he's two-handing it. And I don't have that without the Wolf Ring, so he's staggering me when he two-hands his sword in one hit. I need to land that parry. There we go. That's another grab. The grab's not that hard to dodge, and man, I got him on when he was doing his charge. But then again, speedrunners can get him on that opening jump, so, you know, I have a ways to go, I guess. But that's alright, because I will be continuing the Dark Souls series with a little bit more PvP before heading on to Heroes of Might and Magic 5. So, I'll get to give you guys my thoughts on that. I think I'll maybe mix up whether I'm doing annotations or post-commentary on it. I don't think live commentary is going to work out very well, given the nature of how I'm recording Xbox at the moment. Plus, live commentary, it's hard for me to give my thoughts as they're happening, and that's actually true for post-commentary too. So I'll use post-commentary to do something other than discussing the fights, because in PvP things happen very quickly, and there's just no way I can come up with a very succinct way of getting my point across in the amount of time that the fight happens. Anyway, since Gwyn was mostly parry spamming and I showed the way to heal against him, I decided to touch on that. But yeah, you got a choice at the end. You can either do the Link the Fire ending by going to the bonfire that appears after killing the Gwyn Lord of Cinder, or you can go for the Dark Lord ending by letting the fire die out. You can argue that either ending is bad. A small case could be made that either ending is good, but I choose the cooler one. Kind of funny that it's a Silver Knight, Black Knight mix coming out of there, though. Not very loyal, this particular one. Yes. Interesting that Frampt is here. Frampt, who called me a sorry fool and that I could not be the chosen one for siding with Koth and the Dark Wraiths, was here to greet me in the Dark Lord ending. That's, interesting. But yes, I think it's rather appropriate that I cast True Dark across the world. The only thing that could make it better would be to fling some nukes. But those would be OP in this game, so I guess I'll be good and not use them, but only because they're not an option. Dark magic! I'm kidding, actually. I don't have a problem with dark magic. I actually think it's fine. Anyway, that concludes the Let's Play of the main game. Viewers, I hope you enjoyed it as much as me. I had a blast doing Dark Souls. I love this game a lot. Harkens back to when games were hard, except for games are still hard, because Dark Souls. Great music, solid gameplay, very few instances of fake difficulty. I mean, you can play hours and hours and encounter it maybe once or not at all. I wish the multiplayer lag situation was a little bit better, but Dark Souls 2 is going to have servers. I can't wait. I just can't say enough praise about this game. But we're not done with it yet, so I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you next time. The Me and Team, signing off.